Hi there! Creative Kristen here with you once again for a couple of more crafty crafts. And the cat is here as well. Now, she's going to be all over the place because we're working with yarn today. And I'm trying real hard to get her to cooperate, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, the reason we're working with yarn today is we're going to make two fun and somewhat unique crafts having to do with the story of when Jesus drove the money changers out of the temple. So Jesus came in and cleansed the temple because people were using it for the wrong thing. They were using God's house to exploit people, to make money, basically to rob people, and that made Jesus very angry. So we're going to talk in our lesson and in our children's message about how Jesus got upset, why he got upset, and what it means to use things for the right purpose when we're using them for God. So in our crafts, we're going to make two crafts to remind us of this story and to remind us to set our hearts and minds and values on the correct things. So the first thing we're going to make is just a little bit fun, and we're going to make a whip because in the story, Jesus made himself a whip and he drove those people right out of the temple to cleanse and purify it and tell them they were doing the wrong thing. So we're going to make ourselves a bit of a whip here. So all you really need is some yarn, maybe some cloth and or some paper, and some scissors to cut things off. Now I've already made myself one strand here. I'm going to wind up combining it with another strand, and then we'll just kind of twist it all together and make a fun little braided yarn whip. So what you're going to do is you can use as many colors of yarn as you like and whatever colors of yarn that you prefer to use, but we're going to be kind of measuring this out. Now, since I already have one strand here, I'm going to kind of measure this to be a similar length. And you want it to be kind of thick. And we're just going to create some strands. If you'd like to make 3 and turn this into a braid, you can do it the braided way. Now, I'm going to do this kind of a 2-part twisty braid. You'll see what that happens with that. And you're just going to make it as thick as you like. Then we'll tie it off on one end and connect it with another color, again making it somewhat the same length. I'm going to measure that together, and just going to do some twisting here. Once you get your yarn all nice and measured out, put together, we're going to connect these, and then we're going to kind of braid it up. So again, the way you do this can take several variations, and what we're going to do with it is just going to have, number 1, a fun memento of the story itself, and number 2, you can encourage kids to use these to remind them to pray. Maybe they can stroke them or hold them while they're praying, or put them somewhere that reminds them to pray or to think about church, or you've got options. But anyways, we're going to put these together. Now, what I did with this one was I wrapped a piece of cloth around the top. We're going to actually wrap a piece of paper all the way around the top, and we're going to secure it with, I recommend like a strong kind of tape. I've got packing tape here. You can also use masking tape or masking tape. Yeah, that might work. Or duct tape would work. And then I'm going to say something like house of prayer to remind myself of what the story is all about. Then we're going to wrap this up and we're going to braid it. So hopefully most kids know the basics of a braid, and we're just going to kind of put it end over end. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be technical. We're just kind of connecting all these yarns together to make ourselves right over left, left over right, right over left, left over right, or right over middle over right, however you want to do it. So we're just connecting them up so it makes a fun little braided whip. And you can go all the way down with the braid action. You can go part of the way down with the braid action and then tie it or tape it off at the bottom. Again, got a lot of options. So we're going to get it all twisted together. And if you like, you can also put another little piece of tape at the bottom there to secure it. And you can also snip those ends if you've got them. And then you have your fun little prayer whip. Kind of looks like a braid or a tail, or it's a whip. It's fun. So next craft is also going to have to do with the story, and it's going to remind us of how the people were not using God's house correctly. They were not using the temple for what it was meant for worship. And we don't always use our temples, our bodies, for worship. Sometimes we do things we know we shouldn't. Sometimes we are disrespectful. So we're going to clean out the temple. Now, you'll need 2 paper plates, and 1 paper plate you're going to decorate, reminding yourself of what church or of what Christian life should look like. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this paper plate and you're going to decorate it with all the right things. So you are going to, if you've got paper, you can make a paper cross, or you can make a popsicle stick cross, or you can just draw a cross, but we're going to remind ourselves that Jesus is the new temple. So even though churches are very important and it's a wonderful place of respect, Jesus is really the one that we're focusing on, and he's what we dedicate our lives to. In the interest of not having time to get that glue on there, I'm just going to put some tape on to secure it. And I've got some jewels here to remind ourselves that the true treasure is in Jesus. So we're going to decorate this plate and celebrate the true temple is Jesus or Christ. And then we're going to jot down some ideas of things that we can do to honor him, whether in our lives, whether in the church, or in whatever we do. So here we're going to attach some little paper strips with ideas of ways that we can love and serve God and one another. So we can write things down like pray. And these could be things that you can do in the church too. Read the Bible. Respect others. And we can attach these, again, with glue or tape or a handy dandy stapler. So these are positive reminders of what we do with our lives or what we do when we go to church. These are the things that we want to do to show that we love God. Now, on this other paper plate, we're going to make a table to overturn, and we're going to attach a trash bag to get rid of things in our lives that might distract us from following Jesus. So you'll want a paper bag and your paper plate. You're going to attach the paper bag at the end, and on this paper plate, we're going to write, take out the trash, clean God's temple. Now we talk about how, in a sense, the church is the temple. Our bodies are like a temple. Jesus is like a temple as well. And so here, we're going to come up with things that we want to get rid of, things that are not good in our lives, and we're going to be attaching them in our garbage bag. So you can wrinkle this up if you want it to look extra garbagey. And we're going to write distractions. You can write whatever you want. Distractions, lies, idols. These are the things that separate us from God and keep us away from Him. So let's say something comes up in our lives that is not good. Maybe something that we should not have done. Maybe something that we might do wrong or misuse the wonderful things God has given us. You're going to write those things down, and you're going to throw it away in a sense. So we're going to draw a little trash can on here because Jesus cleaned out the temple so it could be used for God's purposes. Here's our trash can. So these strips of paper, and this can be something you add to as you go. You can hang this up and have it be something you continue adding to. So we're going to write things down like saying unkind words. That's not something God wants. Saying unkind words. Something else, maybe you did something lying to parents. Or it could also just be something that distracts your mind, like maybe you're worrying too much about something instead of giving it to God. So then what we're going to do with all of this is we're going to put it together. So to put it together, we're going to staple these two parts together, and we're going to attach our little baggie so we can take out that trash. So on one side, we've got the negative thoughts and the negative things that we do and these sins. Oops, there we go. That's the negative side. And we're going to attach our trash bag here so that we can dispose of all those yucky things. And maybe you even want to make it something symbolic where after a while of having this trash bag attached here, you actually take it off and throw it away and throw it in the trash. Or you take those things out and you burn them, or you give them over to God as things that you're struggling with. You can use it symbolically in a lot of ways, but we have our things that we don't like here. And then here we have things that we want to focus on instead. The positives: prayer, reading the Bible, going to church. And you can add to that as well as you go. So it's just a fun visual reminder of how we can use our lives for the right thing and focus on Christ and the help He offers rather than on the negatives and the trashy items. So this could be something you hang up, you play with, you do as an activity, and then you toss it into a pile and then clean it out when spring cleaning comes. Plenty of options and variety, as with anything, but make it your own, make it creative, make your crafts, make your disciples. Come back next time because we're here every week with children's message ideas, craft ideas, and more. So feel free to like, subscribe, comment below, and we will see you next time. Have a great week.